Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to lecture 6 of the subject Compiler Design on the topic Limitations of SLR Parser. So, in the last lecture we have seen that how exactly SLR parser works. Then we have seen one problem and understood that how to fill up the entries into the SLR parsing table and which grammar is called as SLR grammar, which leads to no multiple entries in the parsing table. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to see that what are the drawback of SLR parser or what are the limitation of SLR parser or for which type of grammar SLR parser fail. We know that in SLR parser, we use the follow information. We predict that the follow information means the terminal symbols which are in the follow of the non-terminal, those are present in the input buffer, for which we are going to perform the reduction on the top of the stack. But this follow information is not all the time sufficient, and we know that every SLR grammar is unambiguous. The grammar for SLR parser has to be unambiguous, but not that every unambiguous grammar is SLR. So, it is not that every SLR grammar is unambiguous. So, let us see with one example that for this grammar how the SLR parser will fail. So, consider the following unambiguous grammar. So, it is clear that the grammar is not ambiguous. So, what are the production in the given grammar? S tends to L equals to R or R, L tends to star R or dot ID, R tends to L. So, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 production in the given grammar. So, first step to construct the SLR parsing table is augment the given grammar. So, we are adding one production S dash tends to dot S, which reduces the start symbol of grammar. So, we are reducing this S dash tends to dot S. All other productions are as it is, just we are adding dot at the beginning of the production. So, this is the augmentation of the given grammar. So, 5 productions will become now 6 production, and these are the numbers given to the production, so that we can write the number of production by which we are reducing during the reduction on top of the stack. So, in this example we will see that how parallelly we can compute the LR0 collection of item and draw the DFA. In the last problem we have seen that we had first computed the LR0 collection of items such as I0, I1, I2 till I5 in last example, and then we have drawn the DFA. But in the exam, to save our time, we can do both the things parallelly. So, we can draw the DFA parallelly and write the I0 state closure inside the DFA itself. So, let us see how we can do this parallelly. So, we start here. In the beginning we compute the closure of S dash tends to dot S, and we call it as a first state of the DFA, that is I0. So, start with closure of S dash tends to dot S. Now, when we compute closure, after the dot, if non-terminal is there, then we take its production. So, what are the productions of S? We need to add. See here, the S productions are S tends to dot L equals to R. So, we include this in the closure, S tends to dot L equals to R. Now, again after the dot non-terminal is there, so we are going to add L production. But before that, S is having 2 productions. If you see the original grammar, S is having L equals to R as well as S tends to R. So, we are adding both S equals to dot L equals to R and S tends to dot R. Now, since after the dot L is there, we are adding the production of L. So, there are 2 productions of L, L tends to star R and L tends to ID. So, add those in the closure, L tends to dot star R, L tends to dot ID. Now, since after the dot R is there, we add the R production also. So, the R production is 1, R tends to L. So, we add this into the closure, R tends to dot L. Now, see here, after the dot terminal is there, so we cannot expand further the closure. Here also after the dot ID is there, so we cannot further expand the closure. So, we are having 6 productions in the I0. Now from I0, when we go to the next states, we have to see that after the dot, which symbol is there, grammar symbol. It can be terminal, it can be non-terminal. So after the dot, we are having symbol S, L, R and star ID and L, on which we are going to have the transitions in the DFA. So by shifting the dot, we can have a transition. So one transition we will be getting by shifting dot S, that is I1, other is by shifting dot after L, and these two we are going to combine because both of them start with L. Here instead of S tends to R dot, it has to be R tends to dot L. There is a writing mistake here. So like this we get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 transitions from I0. 5 transitions, this L will get combined. 5 transitions from I0. So first one is go to I0 comma S. We get that is I1. S dash tends to this dot will get shifted S dot. Now this is a complete item. After the dot nothing is there, so we cannot further expand closure. Now for I2 we are shifting this dot after L. So we are going to get go to I0 comma L. That is I2 is equals to closure of S tends to L dot. Dot will get shifted after L is equals to R. Now here after the dot equal to is there, which is a terminal. So I cannot further expand here, and this has to be, we are taking the transition on L, this has to be, there is, as I told you, writing mistake here, this has to be R tends to L because we are taking transition on L, not on R. And I3 is this dot is getting shifted after start. So I3 is equals to S tends to R dot, and I4 is equals to closure of L tends to this dot is we are shifting after star. So L tends to star dot R. Now since after the dot non-terminal R is there, we have to take R production. So R production is R tends to dot L. Now after the dot L is non-terminal, so we take the L production. So L tends to dot star R and L tends to ID we are going to add in the closure. Now here star and ID are terminal, so we cannot further expand the closure of I4. Then for this R tends to dot L, that we have already added. The next is L tends to dot ID. So I5 we get closure as L tends to ID dot. Now this is a complete item, we cannot further expand the closure. Now this is a complete item. So from I1 I will not get any transition, but from I2, yes, after the dot terminal equals to is there. So I will get a transition in go to I2 comma equals to. So we take a transition here in the DFA from I2 to I6. I6 is equals to closure of S tends to this dot is getting shifted here, L equals to dot R. So after the dot non-terminal is there, so we take transitions R tends to dot L. After the dot L is non-terminal, take L transitions, L tends to dot star R and L tends to dot ID. This is what we have got I6. Now from I3 I will not get further transition because this is a complete item. From I4, yes, on R we are going to get a transition. So go to I4 comma R, I am getting I7. So I7 is equals to closure of L tends to star R dot. Now after dot nothing is there, so we have to stop here. Now again after the dot here L is there, so we take a transition on L. So go to I4 comma L. I am going to get I8 as a new state, which is a closure of R tends to dot is getting shifted after L. So L dot. So this is again complete item. So further expansion of closure is not possible. Now here after the dot we have to shift to star. Which production we are going to get? L tends to star dot R. So if you see, it is a transition on I4 itself because I4 is closure of star dot R. So I4 comma star is closure to itself. So go to I4 comma star. I am not going to get a new state here. From I4 on star, if I take a transition, the transition is going to itself. So it is go to I4 comma star going to I4 itself. Similarly, for L tends to dot ID, if I take a transition then dot will get shifted. L tends to ID dot. Again, this is also new, not a new state, because we are having transition to I5. I5 is L tends to ID dot. So from go to, if we are going to get the new set of production which are not already there, then only we should label it as a new state, such as I6, I7 or I8. But if we are getting repeated same state, then we are just drawing the transition. We are not labeling this as a new state. So L tends to ID dot will not be a new state. It is a transition to I5. So from I4 comma ID, go to I4 comma ID is going to I5. Now from I6, yes, on R we can have a transition. So that is I9. I9 is a closure of S tends to L equals to R dot. Now dot is at the end of the production, so I cannot further expand the closure. Now similarly on L, we are having transition to go to I6 comma L, that is R tends to L dot. So where is it going? R tends to L dot is going to I8. So we are having transition from I6 go to I6 comma L is going to I8. So we are not going to get a new state. So already existing state is there. So we just have to draw a transition. Then I6 comma star. So L tends to star dot R, that is already we have I4. So go to I6 comma star is going to here I4, I6 comma star, because I4 is already existing state. Similarly here if I take a transition and shifts the dot after ID, L tends to ID dot, that state is also already present I5. So we can write here go to I6 comma ID is going to I5, right. So with this we get 9 states, I0 to I9. Those are called as LR0 items of SLR parser. Once we have constructed the DFA, the next step is fill up the shift entries. So for filling up the action and go to table, here we draw the parsing table. Here row R equal to number of states. So how many states we have got in the DFA? We have got 9 states in the DFA. So we here write the rows are equal to I0 to I9. Total 10 states are there. The whole table is divided into the action and go to table. For action, column indicate the terminal. How many terminals are there in the grammar? We are having equal to star ID. These are the terminals. So columns of action table will be equals to star and ID and dollar, because dollar is end of the parsing, which is followed by a start symbol of the grammar. So once this action table is over, in go to table we have the columns equal to number of non-terminals of the grammar. So non-terminals of the grammar are S, L and R. So we are not going to consider here S dash, because S dash is augmented production which is not the original production. So S, L, R are in the go to table. So let's fill up the shift entries. So for shift entries we have to check that after the dot is there any terminal. Yes, these are the two productions. After the dot star is a terminal and after the dot ID is a terminal. So these two will lead to the shift actions in the action table. So there is a production in I0, L tends to dot ID, where after the dot there is a terminal, and we have a transition from I0 on ID to I5. So see here, from I0 on ID we have a transition to I5. Go to I0 comma ID. So fill up the entry action 0 comma ID. 0 is I0, ID is the terminal symbol on which we are having transition in the DFA, and the destination state where we are going is state 5. So action is shift 5. So I0 comma ID is S5. Now similarly in I0 we are having one more symbol, that is star. So L tends to dot star, where the transition is going on? The transition is going on I4. So this action will be 0 comma star is equals to S4. So 0 comma star is equals to S4. So these are the two shift entries. Now see in I1, is there any terminal after the dot? No. In I2, yes, after the dot equals to is a terminal. Now where is the transition going on equal to? Just let's see, the production S tends to L equals to dot R, means from I2 on equals to, we are having transition to I6. So the table will be I2 comma equal to its S6. Now similarly here we don't have any terminal after the dot, here also we don't have any terminal after the dot. Here after the dot we are having star and ID from I4. Where does the transition are going on? From I4 on star we are going to I4 itself, and from I4 on ID we are going to I5. So the entries will be I4 comma star is equals to S4 and I4 comma ID equals to S5. These are the shift entries. In the I5 there is no terminal after the dot, which leads to shift entry. Here also after the dot non-terminal. But these are the two production where we are having after the dot terminals. So where the transitions are going on when we see the star. So let's check star dot R, where is it? Star dot R is it in I4, means we are having a transition from I6 on star to I4, and I6 comma ID is going to I5. So that leads to shift entries. 6 comma star is S4, 6 comma ID is S5. So with this we have finished the shift entries, because in I7 this is a complete item, I8 is complete item, and I9 is also complete item, means after the dot nothing is there. So we cannot have any further shift entries. So shift entries are over. Now fill up the reduce entry. We know that for reducing we should have a complete item in the production, and that should not be the start symbol. This is a complete item but it is having start symbol. So this will lead to a accept entry. So whenever there is a reduction on start symbol of the grammar, we lead to the accept entry. So 1 comma S in the table, 1 comma dollar will be accept. So here means when we reduce by S on the top of the stack, then we declare that parsing is successful and input string is accepted by the parser. Now see here in I2, is there any complete item? Yes. Here this is a R tends to L dot. This is wrong. It has to be R tends to L dot. So for R tends to L dot, the production is, in I2 we have production R tends to L dot. So for that we should first calculate follow of R. Follow of R, for computing follow of R, consider the production where R is at right hand side. So there is a production S tends to L equals to R. So in S tends to L equals to R, follow of R is equals to follow. So here follow of R is equals to follow of S as per the rule of follow. Now follow of S is start symbol of the grammar, and that's why follow of R equals to follow of S equals to dollar. Now there is one more production where R is at right hand side, L tends to star R. So here follow of R equals to follow of L. Now follow of R equals to follow of L. Now how to find out the follow of L? So for that we consider the production where L is at right hand side. So S tends to L equals to R. Now what is following L? Equals to is following L. So follow of L equals to. So follow of R is equals to comma dollar. So the action for reduction is below the follow member. Follow members are equal to and dollar. So action will be state 2 comma follow member equals to is equals to, we are reducing by the production R tends to L dot. Now what is the number of R tends to L dot? The R tends to L dot, the number is 6th production. So reduce by R6. So action 2 comma equals to is equals to R6, and action 2 comma dollar is equals to R6. So fill up those entries. 6 I2, 2 comma equals to is R6, and 2 comma dollar is R6. So now here is the problem, that we are leading to the conflict whether to shift by 6th or reduce by 6th, and that is the reason that the parser, SLR parser, will fail for this grammar, because it is leading to multiple entries at the same location. Now the next reduce is in I3. See here, in I3 there is a complete item S tends to R dot, that will lead to reduce entry. So consider the production S tends to R dot, compute first follow of S is dollar, and then make the entry action 3 comma dollar is equals to reduced by S tends to R dot. S tends to R dot, the production number is S tends to R dot, production number is 3, means R3. So 3 comma dollar is R3. Now next, after I3, see in I4 is there any complete item where dot is at the end? No. In I5, yes, L tends to ID dot. This will lead to reduce action. So in I5 we are having a production L tends to ID dot. So compute follow of L equals to and dollar, just now we have computed. So action will be 5 comma equals to is equals to R5, 5 comma dollar is equals to R5. So 5 comma equals to is R5, 5 comma dollar is I5. Then we are going to see here the next reduce action. For next reduce action, we have to see after I5 in I6 is there any complete item? No, there isn't any complete item. In I7, yes, L tends to star R dot is a complete item which will lead to reduction. So in I7 we have a production L tends to star R dot. So follow of L we have just now computed is equals to comma dollar. So action is 7 comma equal to is R4, action is 7 comma dollar is R4. So 7 comma equals to is R4, 7 comma dollar is R4. So similarly in I8 we are having a production R tends to L dot which will lead to reduction. So follow of R is equals to comma dollar. So action will be 8, this is in 8th state. So 8 comma equals to is R6 and 8 comma dollar is R6. So see here 8 comma equal to is R6, 8 comma dollar is R6. Then in I9 we are having a production S tends to L equals to R dot which is a complete item, that will lead to reduction. So compute follow of S is dollar because it is the start symbol of the grammar. So action is 9 comma dollar, follow member is equals to R2. So 9 comma dollar is R2. Now after that we compute the go to entries. So for go to entries in the table we have to see in the DFA where we are having transitions on non-terminal. See here from I0 on S we are having transition to I1. Similarly from I0 on L we are having transition to I2. Similarly on R we are having transition to I3. So these are the three productions where we are having transition on non-terminal. So fill up the go to entries. So go to I0 comma S is to I1. So entry is 0 comma S is 1. So see here 0 comma S is 1. Then I2 I0 comma L is going to I2. So it is 0 comma L is 2. Now go to I0 comma R is going to I3. So fill up the entries 0 comma R is 3. 0 comma R is 3. Similarly, if you see the DFA, here there is no transition on non-terminal, but here yes, from I4 on R we are having transition to I7, and from R we are having transition to I8 on L. So the gateway entry will be, see, go to I4 comma R is equals to I7. So 4 comma R is 7, 4 comma R is 7, and 4 comma L is 8, that is going to I8. So 4 comma L is 8. Then see that in I6 we are having transition going to I9 on R. So that will lead to a go to entry 9 comma 6 comma R equals to 9. So 6 comma R equals to 9. This is how we construct the go to table, right? So what we understand from this example is that there are certain grammars for which SLR parser will fail, right? This grammar was unambiguous, still it led to multiple entries in the parsing table. So we can conclude that every unambiguous grammar is not SLR, but every SLR grammar is unambiguous. So it is because the power of SLR parser is so less, so weak, that it do not work on every grammar, and that is the reason that the SLR parser is called as a weak parser. So what is the solution we have for this? We have to go for the more powerful parser, that is a CLR parser, or it is also called as LR1 parser, that we shall study in detail in the next lecture. So let us just summarize what are the limitation of LR0 parsing or SLR parsing. LR0 means we are parsing with 0 tokens of look ahead. When there is no look ahead used, so the parser must be able to determine what action to take in each state, whether to shift or reduce or accept or error, without looking at any further input symbol, because we are not using any look ahead. Thus, the LR0 configuring set cannot have both shift and reduce items. So it will lead to conflict of shift and reduce, and can only have exactly either shift or one reduce item at one location in the parsing table. So this turns out to be a rather limiting constraint. LR0 method is just too weak to be useful. This is because the fact that we try to decide what action to take only by considering that what we have seen so far, without using any information about the upcoming input. Now there is no look ahead use, zero look ahead is used, means we don't know what is there in the input. We just predict that follow members of a non-terminal may be present in the input, but that is not true all the time. That just now we have seen with the example. So by adding just a single token look ahead, we can vastly increase the power of LR parsing technique and work around these conflicts. So the next two parsers which we are going to see, that is the LR1 parser and LALR parser, those use single token look ahead. Now there are three ways to use a token look ahead: SLR1, LR1 and LALR1, each of which we will consider in the next few lectures. Thank you.